Oh boy. Man, thank goodness this isn't a digital circus stream. Otherwise, I have to worry about fucking spoilers. Don't actually try. Any shit like that is gonna get removed. I'm still setting up anyway. That being said, what I am going to do, since today it was just a theater visit, lower this down just a little bit. Because it's been. Has it really been a fucking decade? No. Is it about. Oh, for God's sake. Yes, thanks for telling me that, you two. Too bad you didn't give me much information to go off of. One of your configurations isn't valid. No shit, tell me. You know, but. Yeah, it has been damn near almost a decade, I want to say, since I've last been to the theaters. I can at least tell you what movie it was. It was Utopia. Like when it first debuting into theaters. I want to say it was like a packed, like a lot more than I would have realized actually going into see Zootopia. Hell, I didn't actually expect to enjoy Zootopia. I actually kind of liked it. Definitely a lot of funny moments in it as well. Though, especially the sloth, like the sloth bit, it was there for like a moment, but it's so hilarious as hell. That being said, like several times beforehand, for today, I should say, that I have gone to the theaters, they were not the cleanest. I just think remember even like there's like there'll be mess up. To be fair, it's probably because of the time of day that I would go to. We would go to the theaters. There would be a bunch of mess. There'd be popcorn all over the goddamn floors. The seats were not comfortable. Like the theater where I live at, right? I haven't been in that theater forever. Like they actually changed the seats because I remember they had these fucking seats. They were not cushioned first and foremost. Also, yes, pardon me, YouTube is YouTubing, but as I was saying, these seats that the theaters would have back then. I don't know how many of them still have it, but they were these fucking flip flop seats. Like they were up until you actually sat in them, and then they would settle down. You didn't even have like the sides of them where you would put your drinks. They didn't even have them where you could like put them up. That's something I did. They actually put there as well. I did want to. I do want to say they did have like the bits where you could like adjust the seating underneath, but like, oh, okay, never mind. I guess we're still having issues. Well, gee, tube, you could have told me that much sooner so I could actually address it properly. Too bad you didn't. Too bad you didn't jack shit to do that. Hold on. What the hell? How the hell did that happen? Because the one time I am able to stream it, but it was mainly just gonna be just chatting that I would be doing today. And it's shitting. Okay. That happened. Give me a second. I'll sort this out. I will say this though. I very much enjoyed my time actually being in the theaters. There weren't too many issues. There weren't. Yeah, there weren't any like noise or anything like that. It was actually quite nice. Because I distinctly remember the last time I went to the theaters again. That was. There were definitely some quite noisy. The time before that, when I was in the theaters, I think it was when we went to go see The Hobbit. There was a lot of my family members who were really into Lord of the Rings. So how much of it is interest in Lord of the Rings and more so like interest in like the actors like Elijah Wood? I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt and say, oh no, they were actually fans of Lord of the Rings. And even then, I distinctly remember, like, because at the time I was still relatively young, sticking around the movies that are 2 hours long or so, that long, I could probably do that now as opposed to when I was, like, younger. As we did that back then, yeah, no, I fell asleep. I could not wake. I could not stay awake because of how, like. To be fair, I still have that issue, like paying attention. But I have a much better attention span nowadays. Funnily enough, despite how much shit is like brain rot in. It's so much is taking up your attention nowadays. Do I actually want to talk about my actual experience today in the theater? Because I don't want to go into spoilers. I don't want to go into spoilers about the actual movie itself. Because I was debating whether I actually wanted to go to the theater to see the finale of The Amazing Digital Circus. As much as I kept up with it, it's like, it didn't deal with spoilers online because people don't know how to shut the fuck up about it. Funnily enough, I looked at, because what was it, Iron Lung? I wonder if there weren't that many issues with people who were into Iron Lung. But because it's this, I don't know what. Because, like I said, that was actually a really nice experience. And the thing that got me was because of what I said, I didn't realize how much of a great viewing I would actually have. It was all the way in the fucking back, in the top of the season. Because when I looked at where to book the tickets, right? That's the first time I booked tickets online. But when I saw like the arrangements for like the seatings, like the entire center row was like completely filled. I was like, oh, there's a lot more people than I realized that were gonna come to see this. What I also probably should have expected Was that so? Was that there were a couple people who who dressed up for the movie. One of them who I actually sat next to. They dressed up as Ribbit. I actually got a picture of them before I before they actually left, before I left to get the bus. But one of them dressed up as Ribbit, the other one dressed up as Pomni. Didn't have the gloves, which, if I recall correctly, she said like she left the gloves, but she got the rest of the cosplay. It was awesome. And oh boy, what I also didn't expect when I was watching the movie was like like the typical introductory stuff, like, oh, don't have your phone out, keep it on silent. Uh, the spoiler bit was also like at the very beginning, like, hey, don't spoil the movie. I did like the joke was like, oh, if you haven't seen the episodes up until this point, you have about 30 seconds to catch up. I love how he got both of both Charlie and the dude. He did the fucking fish in episode 7. And then, it did the recap anyway. Like, the recap of episodes 1 through 7. Granted, it was fairly short. Alex Oshan doing the recap is, not something I would have expected. What else can I mention without fucking spoiling? Because this. I mean, would it count as a spoiler if I said that the idiots. Because they are fucking idiots. Who went out in the fucking comment section of, like, posts and YouTube videos to spoil the fucking movie. God damn it. Like, I made the terrible mistake of checking, like, at least like Goosewood's channel where they had to post. That was my bad. Because yeah, it turns out to be real. Excuse me. That turned out to be real. And now I've got egg on my face for actually. No, not really. I actually still enjoyed watching it. But Jesus Christ. I'm not even sure. I don't remember. Because I had only heard about, like, the Brazilian. What's a Brazilian? It was one of the, like, versions of the, like, dubs of the film that had gotten leaked. I don't remember how that happened. I don't think I read on how it happened. It just kind of was a thing. I didn't bother to watch going into the dub. Because, like, I was like, no, that can't be real. It's just people being dicks on the internet. You know, the usual shit. No. No, turns out turns out they're being dicks because they want to spoil the fun for everyone else. Regardless if it is true or not, and turns out it was. My dumbass. I've, and the funny thing is, it wasn't even spoiling, like, very specific detail. It was just like, this thing happened, and then this thing. Like, two very specific things that happened. That I'm probably willing to bet that are gonna upset people when they do watch it, either in theaters on June 19th, when it releases on YouTube. And oh god, like, imagine what's gonna happen once it releases on YouTube. Dude. Dude. Like, oh my god, no. Hey, so remember what I said about spoilers? I completely forgot that there were gonna be people who A watched it in theaters and B was would have already YouTube would have already gotten like recommendations of like people reviewing the episode. Likely after they've seen it in theaters. And I'm yeah, that's probably gonna be like the fix of it because how many of those am I gonna see on my recommended page before it's like, okay, okay, YouTube, I get it. So dumb. Cause yeah, it is like episode 8 and 9. So I just put like a spoiler tag, like put like the spoilers and then actually talk about it. Cause I'm half tempted to do that. At the very least, so that cause I never do reviews of like games or film or animated or series for that matter. You know what? No, no. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I will say this though. Something that they did mention at the beginning of the film before it started. And that's something I sadly didn't capture was the end of series like exclusive shop. There was a QR code for the shop. It was like, oh, I actually saw there was oh, that's kind of neat. And a very cursed thing. Exclusively for the movie theaters to hold your popcorn. I sadly never captured it, and I sadly never like took a screenshot so I could actually go to the actual website and see if there was stuff there that I actually wanted to get. Because there's much that I actually would have loved to have gotten at some point. What else can I mention? I mean, really, the only thing I could mention is like stuff that happened in episode 8 because that's been released already. But like, but then that also feeds the spoilers in episode 9 because, God, mm, mm, actually no, because I did mention like the seating for like the theaters. The reason why I brought that up is because this, well, actually, but it's like okay, I was so goddamn early, like hardly anyone else was there yet. It was like 10:30 I arrived, and the film didn't start until 11. So when I got to my seating, right, they actually had it labeled, which was convenient. What I didn't expect to be convenient was like the seating. It was actually really nice seating. Like it felt real, like it basically felt like a home home furniture, decent enough home furniture that like that's what would have been nice to have. Any other time I was in the theaters, I don't know when that changed. Um, I really, you know what? Um, I could probably mention this in like, you know, I will. I'm gonna put like a post, both in chat and the comment section. That there's going to be fucking spoilers because while it's still fresh in my mind, I gotta at least talk about it since I never talked about the Amazing Digital Circus at any other point of the channel because at that time I wasn't really watching series like that. And I actually got into it by the time episode 7 released. Hmm. Actually, no. I keep going back and forth because, like, I don't want to. But, you know what's crazy? I'm probably gonna end stream today because it was just talking about my theater experiences. Oh, you know what? There actually was another. Might as well, since we're talking about movies that people really want to see. I want to say it was like when they were showcasing like the prequel films for Star Wars. At the time, we went to see Episode 3, and that was around that time I really got into Star Wars because Episode 1 and 2 I didn't really care that much about. Episode 3 is like, oh, now we see how Darth Vader is, how Darth Vader became to be, and why it'll lead us to Episode 4 and onward or like that. But it was always like outside of Episode 3, I cannot speak. The prequel films were like, yeah, whatever. Hardly had anyone even mention the prequel films. Shit, I barely hear that many people talk about like the later films for Star Wars, like Episode 7, 8, 9. Part of me really wants to like dig really deep to see if there's anything else with theaters because I actually didn't even see until like after I left today that there was actually like another Spider-Man film. And one of the folks that left, we were still at the lobby. It was like, oh man, I'm getting kind of, I like a backhand comment. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna see another superhero film because like even back, I want to say it was like mid 2010s. I want to say when they were really starting to put out like superhero films, like rapid fire pace. It was like, Jesus Christ, how many you have lined up? And I think it was all for like Marvel films. I think it was, well, both Marvel and DC to be fair, but especially Marvel. It's like that, like God forbid anyone actually misses like a film that has stuff that was even relevant for like the later films, especially for pretty much all of them having like an end credit scene. That's kind of neat. They didn't realize I'd come into a wall. To be fair, because like a lot of times if there were films I actually wanted to see, it'd probably just be like at home. Especially since a lot of the times they have streaming services, mainly the other two folks at home. But I don't have any subscription to any of them, so being able to catch up to a film. Excuse me. Being able to catch up to like a film that I want to watch rarely ever comes up. I was like, you know what? It's been forever since I've been to a theater. I'm gonna go watch the Digital Circus finale. And again, that was pretty much like the most chill experience I've ever had in the film. I was expecting it to be somewhat chaotic. To be fair, it was a Thursday morning, 11 a.m. I was expecting like a bunch of more children because of how many fucking kids watched the film. Well, not watched the series. Hmm. I'll talk about the concessions. Let's talk about the concession because I forgot how big the fucking popcorn boxes get. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of popcorn. That'll be fine. Got to like half of the popcorn boxes. Like, oh, yeah, I'm not all that hungry. I mean, I was. I didn't eat anything at that point, but by the time we got to that point in the film after episode 8, it was just it had not kept its warmth. It was just kind of yep, it's still there. I didn't get any snacks either. I think it was like what, $15 for like the popcorn and drink that I got. I'm gonna double check that right now. Give me a second. 15.25. That's how much it was for popcorn and drink. That probably seems a lot more. I mean, it definitely is. Because how much of that was? I actually don't know how much of that was just the fucking popcorn. It was probably like what, $12, and the drink was like 3ish because it got a medium. But it is kind of off topic to like see this, but like, especially since I've been trying to be more keen to like saving money. I've been keeping track of like my expenses, and yet somehow I'm over how much I thought I was because of some weird shit that happened. I actually don't even know because I think it was like about an extra $20 that I had when I'm pretty sure I spent at least that amount sometime prior to my last paycheck. That was weird. I checked my statements anyway. It, I don't know. Like that's just money being money. I mean, I don't know if it's an accountant issue on my end because as much as I've tried to keep track of my expenses that I have, I've been doing that every goddamn day at this point. Uh, I still somehow managed to like miss something. I don't know if it was because it was money that was refunded to me. I'm willing to bet that it is. Either from my previous like phone plan or some shit like that. Because oh, you actually spent this much when you really shouldn't have been charged that much, or whatever. Again, would have loved to know, but that didn't happen. So okay, you know what I'm gonna do? No, because I really don't like spoilers being a big fucking thing. And I get that the movie was leaked, but like, it's still spoilers for people who want to watch the fucking film, right? The reason I keep going back and forth because is because I don't know if I'm ever gonna have another opportunity to mention like indie animated series like this again. And I don't mention stuff like Has-Been Hotel or Knights of Guinevere, which is another one of which, or Murder Drones, or even Game Overs. That's another one that. Oh, jeez, like, imagine being a fan of like Glitch Productions for like their stuff, or fans of anyway, so like Has-Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss and shit. I would find that the fan base is completely fucking insufferable. I say as a Zelda fan. I say as a fucking. Well, I don't know if I'd still call myself a Sonic fan, but definitely still find myself playing Sonic games more often than not. I don't know about Metroid fans. Like, we've been waiting hell of a long for Metroid Prime 4, only to find that this is what they released. Ugh. That's upsetting. And I was really hyped for Metroid Prime 4, but after what I saw from the Switch 2, and now, like, the game, like, so much of that hype just completely died out. But I'm not talking about Switch 2, we're talking about movie theaters. I will say this, though. I kind of realize how much awkward it is because I haven't gone to theaters. Like, because, like, checking in, right? Because I did get it, like, online, I forgot that they had to print out the fucking tickets. Because I did get the QR code for it, right? I didn't realize, oh, I had to go into, like, the checkout booth and they'll scan it. And it'll give you the fucking tickets. I thought what I bought was the fucking tickets. Whoops. But that was fine. Then came to actually get the concession. Because at the time, like I said, I came there super fucking early. It was empty. Early in, well, not so much early in the morning. It was like 10:30. But definitely early enough to where there weren't that many people. Because I thought that, yeah, no, that's on me, honestly, because I made it so fucking awkward. Probably for the person that was behind the fucking desk. That's upsetting. I still haven't gone out of being so fucking awkward. And because I was carrying, like, popcorn and things, like, I had to keep my ticket somewhere in the pocket. Actually, no, in my shirt pocket. I kept, because I still had my headphones and stuff like that. Put them away as soon as the movie started? Question mark? Because they still have the usual shit before the film starts with, like, the ads and stuff. Which also included, like, a Hot Topic ad for, like, granted, it was more than just Glitch production stuff, but definitely some of them that, because I think I saw, like, Glitch. I definitely saw, like, Digital Circus stuff. I think, I want to say, was it Hasbro? It was one of the two. It was one of, on, like, a hoodie or a t-shirt. You know what? I'll probably put, like, a comment saying, like, oh, there's gonna be spoilers. Because I have to, because I do have to mention, like, what my thoughts going in when I went to watch the movie, right? By the time episode 8 ended back in March, because I watched the premiere on YouTube, I was like, oh, both Kane and Bubble are both fucking gone. And what I didn't expect to see after episode 8 ended in the film is like transition straight into episode 9. And it was basically a full circle ending, especially right down to how the finale ended. Because it right down to like the introduction that we saw in the pilot, replacing like Cosmo with Pomni, which I thought they were gonna do in like the later episodes after the pilot. And the fucking glitching in the middle of the song, grayscaling down to where we had previously left off in episode 8. And the bits during the trailer is like, oh, there's a reason why they showed up the way that they did, and why Jax was more or less the focus. Even though the fucking leaks were true. I still hate the people who fucking spoil that shit. That's No. Okay, just no. I'm definitely making a comment under the vibes. It's like, hey, there's spoilers. But if I'm going to be talking about my experiences in the theaters, I have to talk about at least the film that I was watching. So, yes. Because it's like, oh no, that's way too easy for them to have like another abstraction after episode one to introduce. But then again, why introduce the concept of abstraction if you weren't gonna like get off of that? We don't even see how that happened to him, besides like the memory portions of it and the personality bit of it, and them slowly building up to make their own fucking circus. As Kane at that point was gone. Actually, we don't even see Bubble anymore. Even by the time this episode ended, we don't see Bubble anymore. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, that fucking. I didn't. What I didn't expect was to see like episode three still having relevance. Like, oh, it was dark, and the darkness calmed her down a bit, but she didn't seem as aggravated, and she was still safe to touch before safe to touch one last time before she was sent to the cellar. Like, okay, like, probably the one offbeat thing I didn't think we would see, because so much foreshadowing was already in like the Amazing Digital Circus. Oh, one of the few things I can't control is your mind. Turns out but you still managed to create like a body off of their mind files. And the bit that Kingo mentioned, like, oh, Scratch was trying to make something. What was it? It was a fucking. It's something that was already confirmed in like episode 8 by the end of it already. But it was fucking. It was like a way to scan brains. Something I didn't expect to see was him outright mentioning at the start of the episode, like, oh yeah, that was what Scratch was actually making. Or to mention that he even looked in the files. Because the only thing we saw was him going into the command line. Granted, that might have been something he saw while he was on the computer, but it was cut away as soon as he did, going straight to like the program with Kane in it. Or maybe it was just like referring to like Scratch and Ragatha. Because those were two .dat files that we did at least see during that sequence while he was on the computer. In that moment where they were all fucking depressed, I thought it was gonna linger a lot more than I definitely thought it was gonna linger a lot more than it kind of did throughout the episode. Like them realizing what they actually were. And I figured, oh, okay, it's gonna be their own thing where they actually explore more of the circus and try to figure out what they actually were. No, Kingo just spilled the beans. And Kane, to be fair, because he wasn't really gone. Which something I would have thought was kind of be the case because it still had that blue goddamn AI. That was gone. That. Which begs the question: if he had it the entire time, and he's like, he could have done that the entire time, like remove the blue AI, but we gotta have a plot somewhere. And again, like Bubble, nowhere to be found. Something I didn't think I would be doing was also tearing up as well, because like I I hated Jax. mainly starting on like episode 6, it was like, okay, is kind of a funny dude. He has his intolerable moments, but nothing too bad. Then episode 6 happened. I was like, okay, dude, fuck off. Fuck off with that. It was mainly just that crash out that was like, okay, no, I hate this character. And it's like, oh, no, that Delvin, that makes sense. Still more or less hate him after that, but like, there's at least a reason for it now. Like the whole show don't tell actually kind of helped kind of sell it. But Jesus Christ. What I generally thought was that we weren't gonna see Kane's ass again. But considering that he is still technically part of the entire program anyway, no fucking recycling bin, but he's still more or less there since he is essential to the whole goddamn thing in the first place. The thing that I saw was a fucking meme was that, oh no, he finds fucking Google search. He looks up the... That's so fucking stupid. Like, of all things, like, he just finds Google. Finds his fucking Google search engine. So let's be real, it's a fucking Google search of what each human actually was. Too bad I remember mainly like who Pomni, Gangle, Zubul, and Kingo were. Do I want to mention what's that like the post credit bit? Probably not. That's something you're gonna see in the films anyway. I sure hope you do. And it's fucking fantastic. But like Kane actually having that realization, letting go of the blue AI, and again the dumbass Google search, and like at the very least try to make amends. Because I thought, oh, he's an irredeemable tragic character, he's not gonna learn. But he does very much learn, just like the rest of them. And again, with the full circle ending sort of thing, where it's like we basically end how we start, or how we basically ended the first episode, more or less. But again, that kind of just leaves Jax where he is, how he is now. Because he never really got out of it, even after that. Never thought I'd end up feeling bad for him either, but here we are. But like, Jesus Christ. Nor did I think like, actually no, because Pomni was like the one who adjusted the fastest. Because Kika mentioned like, oh, it took other people like days, weeks, or months to adjust. Pomni was the quickest to adjust to it. And the first to adjust to like Conjuring. Which is kind of how they first attempted to like rebuild the circus. Yeah, no, I'm definitely mentioning like, don't watch the video without getting spoiled, because I don't recall like Yeah, no, not even when I was still watching Ruby when I was concerned about spoilers. Because at that point it was what episode season 3? That was my own goddamn fault because I made the terrible mistake of still having a Facebook. But then I actually did watch like seasons 4, 5, and 6. I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to continue this. Very upsetting. This might end up just being a very short stream again. Mainly because like I wish I had more experiences about the theaters, but like I was very sheltered as a kid and a teen. Like I barely went out to do stuff because I never had many friends to speak of. And I still have the rest of the fucking day to do stuff, so because I was still doing stuff for Mighty Switch Force. I haven't even started the other game either, which was probably gonna be another short one. It was Dodogny. I think it was. Uh-oh. Don't tell me I forgot already. Yeah, the fuck. Yeah, Dodogny. A French indie game that's basically a visual novel. I'll definitely be playing it with French audio because Lord knows I'm still more or less trying the best I can to learn French. I realize how many games I have that have other language options available. I just never bothered with it. I guess that's gonna be it, isn't it? Alright. But seriously, like, if you somehow, like, went past this without going through spoilers, go watch the film. Like, seriously, it's actually amazing. But man, my dumbass made the mistake of being online during that time.